so I addressed this issue in a presentation that I gave at the National Conference that Alex Hirschap, the farm, hosted back in 1994 here in Washington, D.C. And I found over the years that, first of all, many people have told me that this was the talk that really wakened them up to what I call at the end of the presentation, not what I call, but what a child psychologist, Dr. Bruno Bettelheim, referred to as unconscious contributions to one's undoing, which I'll read since I know I won't have time to get to the end of this, where he said that we, human victims, he was talking about human concentration camp victims, will often unconsciously collaborate with an oppressor in the vain hope of winning favor. And I went on to say, or go on to say, an example in the animal rights movement is reassuring others that you still eat meat or don't oppose hunting as a quote-unquote bonding strategy to get them to support a ban on, say, animal testing. And I say here, ask yourself if using one group of exploited animals as bait to win favor for another really advances our cause. I've heard people lobbying on behalf of and becoming conscious is what we want to be. We want to, if we're going to, for example, apologize for caring about an animal or caring about anybody, let's ask ourselves, why are we doing this? Is this a deliberate strategy, or is it a weakness, an anxiety that we have that we're going to be snickered and laughed at? And so we almost try to bond with somebody by saying, well, I'm here lobbying on behalf of ending the steel jaw leg hold trap. Of course, I'm a meat eater. They're telling the congressional aide or somebody that they're speaking to, or the congressperson themselves, this as a kind of negative kind of bonding effort to say, well, even though I'm here on behalf of this group of animals, that doesn't mean that you and I don't share a common interest in eating them and doing other abusive things to animals, and hoping that that would be somehow a winning strategy on behalf of the particular group of animals that the person is lobbying on behalf of at that point. So just a few quick things that I use here, a few quick points that I mention here as examples of what I call the rhetoric of apology in animal rights, and what I want to really call moving beyond the rhetoric of apology in animal rights. And I revised this a bit since 1994, although the substance and essence of it is the same. And so many people, when they got our last issue of our quarterly magazine, Poultry Press, the summer issue, which you can get at our table, please do visit our table right out here in the hall, said, when I read that, that just struck a chord with me. That just reminded me of things that I do that I hadn't even thought about before. Where I say, I don't want people to think I'm asking for too much, or I know people think I'm crazy because I'm, here for pigeons, or, well, look what Tammy went through in Altoona, Pennsylvania. She and I are from the same Altoona, Pennsylvania. And look what she went through there on behalf of a dog who couldn't even get up, who was so abused. And we're a society that's supposed to care about dogs. And look what she was subjected to. So we can understand, although we cannot stay with the mindset of how people are going to respond when we say we care about chickens. I mean, she got raked over the coals, she's in jail and everything else for caring about a dog, an obviously abused dog. So we see what we're up against. But all the more reason to be a stand-up person on behalf of those for whom you speak. Because the kind of final betrayal of these animals is to apologize for caring about them. I mean, that's the ultimate betrayal. Then there's nothing left to do. apology in its part of its the issues of that issue. But also, you can pick up the rhetoric of apology as a separate sheet, also at our table. So I have 1 minute, so I'll just give you a couple of examples of what I'm talking about. For example, read assuring the public, don't worry, vegetarianism or veganism isn't going to come overnight. And I ask here, well, think of other social justice issues. Would we say, you don't have to worry, human slavery isn't going to end overnight. You don't have to worry. You don't have to worry. I mean, I'm here on behalf of ending spousal abuse or, say, child abuse in the home. But hey, you don't have to worry. We're going to go very slow on this. We're not trying to change it overnight. You know, you can go on abusing your children as long as you don't remain late. And I do urge you, please, to be thinking about when you address the public, what you're saying, and trying to analyze why you're saying what you're saying, and become conscious of the language that you're using. Because you see, if you start out apologizing for yourself and why you're doing the work you're doing, other people pick up on that and they feel, well, if you don't consider it valuable, why should we? You're already denigrating yourself, and you're approaching me by downgrading yourself. So why should I not follow your direction in that regard, rather than in regard to becoming a more assertive and affirmative person on behalf of justice for animals and compassion for them? You got to be a stand-up person, and you've got to have not just a wishbone, but a backbone. Other than that, advocacy is not advocacy. So thank you.